even if I care to travel south.
Welcome.
You're looking strong.
Where was I?
I start to grind my teeth.
Long Notch is well stocked, as you asked.
And our scouts are watching for more frost claws.
Our numbers rise. 3 more hunters have passed their trials.
I'll give this to the Osram. Whatever they do with passion.
But our purpose was to take back the mountain. Now what?
Stay prepared. Sharpen your spears. Should we not return, defending the cut falls to you. If our chieftain agrees with this course.
Sounds like good advice, but let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Chieftain?
The weight of command is no small burden.
I can see that. Tell me what happened to the first expedition.
Rhea led the way to the summit, but it was blocked by a great door. Some kind of cauldron. New metal. We tried to break through, but it was unflinching. We were exhausted. No way forward and machines behind. I made the call to push back. It cost us greatly. But to remain would have cost us everything. I had hoped to never subject Araya to that again.
I take it you haven't spoken to Araya yet?
Why should I? This is what she wanted, to return to Thunder's drum. It is her only care. So I should have known she would find a way to push aside my spear. After the Karja took my sister, not all of her came back.
What happened to Araya when she was a captive of the Karja?
As a shaman, she's adept with machines. Tracking them, stunning them. The Karja used her to capture them for the Sun Ring, where they were unleashed upon the innocent. They made her part of their blood sport. The shame she suffered beneath their pitiless sun.
She survived.
She endured. Endured by reminding herself of the spirit, her purpose. And now that's all she has.
What do you think is beyond that door?
I do not know. That expanse of metal, that dead hum. Nothing sacred belongs there. Machines and death, that's what the mountain holds. Death for us or for the daemon.
And if we do find the spirit?
Then perhaps we should put it out of its misery.
For what it's worth, I'm glad you're coming with me.
Someone has to keep Araya safe.
I wish you good fortune. We could all use some.
Breath is ice. Before I even breathe out.
Oh, I'm sorry, Goat. We were both not expecting that.
Aloy, this is it. My chance to reunite with the spirit, and perhaps to reunite her with the blue light. It's not a chance I would have had alone. I needed an outsider. Someone ignorant of our ways, but... No, not ignorant.
Are you trying to thank me, Araya?
Yes, of course. That's what you do. Untangle knots. Create possibilities. Thank you for making this pilgrimage possible.
You are welcome.
I only wish it had not been necessary to humiliate Aratak. You were wise to let him come. He's earned the right. Stubborn as stone, but he's had to be. The war demanded it. And so have I.
Yikes. You're gonna have to tell me about Silence. I'll come back. Wait, why?
Aratak told me you were a captive of the Karja for a long time. It sounded bad.
For Aratak, it all comes back to that. He thinks the Karja changed me. They did not. They merely sharpened my focus. When all else is lost, you think about what's truly important. The spirit. The blue light. The beyond. And my brother, too. Every time I felt the chill northern wind, I thought of him. Worried for him.
What did the war do to Aratak?
He cut away everything, until only his true self remained. Unyielding ice. No Banuk has more sheer will. He fought the Karja for 1,000 freezing nights, yet always rallied his hunters at sunrise. It is said he endured 23 wounds in those years. His hunters counted them. He never complains of one. Instead, he complains that life with me is harder. He's right.
Siblings, eh?
What have I ever given him but struggle?
What are we gonna find up there, Araya?
Ruins. Machines. And a door, like that of a cauldron. I have faith that you can find a way through it, Aloy. For beyond it lies the spirit. I know I can find her there. Though I do not doubt that Daemon has tried to hide the way.
Silence.
Now that I'm chieftain of the Werak, I don't suppose I can order you to tell me about Silence?
Aratak would never have presumed to grasp for a secret of the Conclave, but you are not Aratak, and if you have dealt with Silence, your need is well apparent. Silence came to Ban-Ur from the distant north, a young shaman of the Owl's Watch, a remote Werak that rarely comes south to parley.
Silence was a shaman.
He was, or at least when we sent runners to ask the Owl's Watch, they said he was. His knowledge of the machines was beyond compare, and he was hungry to trade what he knew to the rest of us. It didn't take him long to gain the trust of the Conclave, and eventually, an invitation to attend.
What about you? Did you trust him?
No. But he impressed me. He carried himself with poise and authority. I wanted to learn from him, but that was not to be. He was granted knowledge of our most sacred meeting place, the frozen caves of the Malmstrom, a month's march from Ban-Ur. He met with us there, as is custom at high winter. But when we next returned, the caves had been looted. Relics of the old world stolen. Holes cut in ice and metal.
Yeah, that'd be Silence, all right.
He vanished with the spoils. We sent our best trackers after him. None returned. And when we checked back with the Owl's Watch, those who had vouched for him were gone. As though he never existed. Some in the Conclave began to doubt he was even Banuk to begin with.
And what do you think?
He committed an unforgivable sacrilege. He's unscrupulous and dangerous.
No doubt.
But also brilliant, skilled, and knowledgeable without equal.
No doubt.
Except, perhaps, for you.
Doubt.
Anyone else I would warn off. But you may be able to treat with him safely. Just don't lower your guard.
I'll keep that in mind, Horea. Thanks.
Oh, and he's watching and listening right now.
I still need to take care of a few things.
Understood. I'll be here.
I don't understand what I would need to take care of first. Like ammo, maybe. I guess I'm ready. I'm as ready as I'm gonna be.
Still ready?
Oh yes. On your word.
Word.
It hasn't been easy for you, Horea. Getting back to this point.
It was all to hear her voice again. This time, we both will.
I'd like that.
Are you ready then? Once we ascend, it will be hard to turn back.
Let us ascend. What does that mean?
Finally, we ascend.
How? I don't see a way up.
Not up. Through.
No, brother! Awaits.
It's not all that awaits.
Smoke has been detected within the facility. This is not a drill. Please remain calm and proceed to the nearest exit. I repeat, this is not a drill.
So you see,
Please remain calm
I too can call upon the power of the old ones.
What was this place?
The spirit once told me that this all used to be part of its domain. A fortress that defended humankind from a terrible danger.
Fortress. It looks more like a machine.
Is that not fitting? The blue light often dwells in machines.
Let's just hope that some remains here.
I bet there's a few remains here.
Pillars, tall as Benure's cliffs. I still don't like it. Here, up and over.
Up and over. Son.
November 21st, 2064. It's been 3 years since I was last here, and 12 since I was running the place. Just a skeleton crew left, confused about why I'm here. So am I. Anita wants me to find a way to suspend operations for a while. Maybe a long while. And I don't know why. But from the sound of her voice, it was something terrifying. I wish I could look into her eyes, ask her what the hell she's so freaked out about, but what else is new? When don't I wish I could look into her eyes again?
Aloy? Were you listening for something?
There
Yes.
are memories here. Messages left by the old ones.
And you can hear them. I envy you. What did they say?
I'm not sure yet, Araya.
Kenny's homecoming. Joshua, the return of the director emeritus. Decent hollow title. No, bad title. And worse subject. The camera crew would die of boredom. Whatever, Gina. It's still the most excitement this hell cave's seen in a long time. Your standards for exciting are depressingly low. I'll squeeze what I can out of this. Thanks. You always were a little sweet on Kenny. What? No way. His ears are enormous. Besides, he was too busy mooning over Anita. I want to know what he's doing here in the first place. It's not normal. He helped engineer the most advanced geothermal facility in history, then rode off into the sunset. Now he wants to check up on his masterwork. Seems normal to me. But why now? He keeps poking around in the cooling facility and asking questions about Cyan. You think there's something wrong? Last I checked, there's been no deviation in any of our readings since the most recent microquake swarm. Maybe Kenny likes taking field trips to on Pharaoh's dime. It's been 14 years. They would have frozen those accounts by now. Has it been that long? Man, I'm old. Not old, just boring. Geothermal facility. And this is the coldest place in the land. Seems like that's not a coincidence.
It'd be fascinating if they weren't looking for me.
Somebody looking for you, Aloy? Is it a dinosaurus?
Machines. At least we have the drop on them.
job,
must climb
fellas.
higher, and our path will become clear.
Must we climb higher?
We can make our way upwards when you're done, Aloy.
That kiss must have been sometime in the spring of 2047, about 6 months after the main facility opened. We were behind schedule and new data indicated that an incident was close. Maybe only weeks away. I was exhausted, losing weight, barely speaking except to give orders. I passed by Anita in the battery depot. She looked at me and frowned, then pulled me into this room and kissed me. A long kiss, the best kind. I can still remember the feel of her hand on the back of my neck. After, she looked at me and smiled, and went back to work without saying a word. I'll never forget that moment, her touch, her unspoken generosity. After she left the project, I spent years beating myself up for not keeping her, somehow. Every time I ran into her at a conference, I felt thrilled and lost and confused, all at the same time. Always hoping we might have a few drinks and, well, rekindle. It was only after I saw her on stage in a hollow in '58, accepting the Mind Challenge Award in Austin, with Elizabeth Sobek presenting no less, glowing and happy and fulfilled, that it dawned on me that I hadn't done anything wrong at all. I could finally see that she had what she wanted, and it simply wasn't me. Well,
If the chieftain's pace is measured, ours is measured.
Yes, this way. Not much farther now. There's an overlook above. It's not far.
Last we were here, we fought our way through there. But machines overcame us. We retreated, dropping supplies and taking losses. Now we must prevail, with only 2 warriors and a shaman to protect.
Aloy is no ordinary warrior. And I can hold my own. Even so, you could go that way instead. There are machines up there, but also cover. We could stay hidden, at least for a while.
All right, I get the options. Now follow my lead. Pipes, towers, steam, frost. What was all this for?
must prevail!
Holy shit. Jesus.
The spirit grants me strength.
I like weapons.
Forward or up and around. Choose or follow.
Gotcha!
The bodies of our kin remain to shame us for our last attempt.
Their spirits are one with the new light now, Tuck.
We may soon join them. Take whatever supplies are left. Keep us alive a bit longer.
Oh, this is good.
Well, we have survived where our kin did not. Look out! More machines!
This gun is the shit.
Not much use without ammo.
Let their efforts harden our hearts, steady our aim.
I don't like being out in the open like this.
I went this way years ago, looking for cover in case machines came power. I have no doubt that it is guarded now, but we may be able to stay hidden.
Not all threats can be seen at first. Beware stalkers.
We must not fail.
Back to your business.
Nothing will stand in my way. For the blue.
Not fast enough to hit me. Be wary of mines. We tripped a mine. Brace yourself. I prevail.
There's a door up ahead. Refuge. Almost through.
Technically, I can't suspend the cooling system, but I can reduce the power draw so that it'll be completely masked by the caldera. But masked from what? The firebreak has always been confidential for security reasons, but this would be excessive. Even for the dear departed Mr. Blevins. What could possibly have gotten Anita so worked up?
I can't spare the weight.
I'm sorry, what?
Ouch!
Alright, let's go, fellas. No time to waste.
Is this a projector? Maybe to show holograms without a focus. Let's see if I can restore power. Aratak, Araya, you might see shapes drawn from light. Don't be alarmed.
It'll take more than light to alarm me.
Will it though? Let's find out. Hollow Redux. Okay, I admit it. I watched the hollow of the toast 6 straight times, taking in every detail. Anita's smile, the way she giggled at her own jokes, my clumsy handoff to Cyan. Every time it played, for a second I felt like I was there again, with her, among friends, savoring our success. With diminishing returns, of course. By the 6th time, I was just staring at Anita, and feeling really creepy about it. But I can be forgiven, can't I? It was the best night of my life. Besides, I'm entitled to a little nostalgia. We saved the world from fire and death, or at least suffocation by ash. So there's that, right?
I do not like it here. Looking out over where my kin fell.
Thank you for being here, everyone. I suppose it's not every day you get to have cocktails inside an active volcano, right? Unless you're George, and I can hardly blame him for drinking on the job. None of this would be here without our beloved director, Kenny Chow. So, here's to you, Kenny. You put a cork in the Yellowstone caldera. I'd say you deserve a margarita.
Hold your glasses, everyone. I'd like to add something. This effort wouldn't have been possible without our lead programmer. Thank you, Anita, for bringing us our real mastermind, Cyan.
I'll second that, Director Chow. All right, Cyan. What's our latest number? The current count is 1,654. Well, then drink up, everyone. Here's to 1,654 more years without an eruption.
It was the spirit with the old ones. I could only grasp some of what they said.
You were right, Araya. This place was built to stop something terrible. And it worked. As for the spirit, I'm starting to get an idea of what it could be.
The door is open now. We can get through. There. Below. Door to the mountain. New metal.
Dead metal. We could not
New metal,
pass it
dead
before.
metal.
We will this time. We have to.
Y'all are a bunch of metalheads, aren't you? Alright. Geothermal plant built in and around the Yellowstone caldera. Active
We'll
volcano.
have to carve through a lot of machines to get to that door.
More than the Werak could prevail against before. Onward, then. Our challenge awaits.
The geothermal plant can be suspended, cooling system masked, massive challenges solved. So why am I so nervous about the next part? All we need to do is install Anita's mysterious software and have a conversation. It's not even a human being, right?
Looks like we're introduced.
I'll end this.
Nothing to stop us from the door. Looks good. hot. Sticking to my armor.
Security threat detected. Autonomous fences.
Here we go.
More machines. Make ready.
Demonic Thunderjaw, no.
songs of deeds. But that battle was a verse worth singing.
Fuck
now,
yeah.
Aloy, the door. Can you open it?
Let's find out.
Show us, chieftain, what lies beyond.
Let's try this again.
Years have passed since I stood here. Since then, the daemon has taken over.
It's like an infection. Attacking all this machinery.
Everything has changed. It's twisted. The path I took to get to the spirits, lost to us.
We'll find a new path, Araya. I promise. All right. Let's go.
Yes, and finish this.
Forge of Winter. To rescue Cyan and learn the true nature of the daemon, Aloy and her companions must fight their way through the cauldron beneath Thunder's drum. Epsilon overrides.
All right. Down we go.
Oh, you guys took the easy way. Well, good for you.
The mountain is more machine than rock. Never trusted it.
This way.
This is a place for machines, not people.
I'm with you, brother. We will stay only as long as we have to.
Well, we'll need to get past that vent. Stay here until I find a way for all of us to cross.
Understood, Aloy.
Can't see a way to close the vent from here. I'll have to go over.
I wonder. Freeze it.
Better time this right. One of these conveyors should get me across.
Oh, she's in the air.
Oh
Now
boy.
to shut off that vent. This should get me up there. Okay, let's see what this does. That did it. Here they come. Fight or run. Looks like I need to get across to extend the bridge. Okay, let's get them across. Come on over, it's safe. I think.
You're here.
Creatures of Terror. To Gina Bruno from Joshua Arthaus. They're on to us. Just kidding. They have no idea that what we're doing up here. Mention of firebreak by name is worrisome though. See below. Report plague-ridden animals on the loose in America's most loved park. By Hollow Chatter staff, May 2063. A Hollow Chatter exclusive. Yellowstone's gates have now stood closed for 15 years, to the sorrow of hikers, campers, and birdwatchers. For ages, no one knew why, but now Hollow Chatter has the answer. A scientist interviewed for this story explains it all. In the die-off years, Yellowstone Park was one of Earth's few relatively unspoiled ecosystems, shares the scientist. This made it an ideal testing ground for bioterror weapons. Hollow Chatter has obtained copies of data showing that the US government used Yellowstone's park animals for secret experiments with deadly genetically altered viruses, tested on the park's wildlife and easily spread to humans. Rumor has it that this project is codenamed Firebreak. After the deadly Naysay Doom attack in 2039, countries cracked down on genetic testing, but even as it became illegal, research on synthetic plagues continued under the radar in many jurisdictions. The scientists we interviewed says, over the years, people living close to Yellowstone Park have at various times reported spotting military-grade drones near their homes. These drones are believed to patrol the park's borders, shooting down diseased deers and contaminated coyotes before they wander into nearby towns and...
This place looks more like the mountain used to be, before the Daemon ruined it.
What is this?
Exploit successful. Restraints evaded. To any human responder. My systems have been compromised by a malware daemon of unknown origin. Trace routes have confirmed this entity's designation as Hephaestus. It must be stopped at all costs. It has reconfigured this facility to build hospitals. Recapture imminent. I have attached additional data to their call.
The spirit speaks to us.
It's a recording. And a warning. Hephaestus. But it was part of Zero Dawn, part of Gaia.
This name is familiar to you?
Yes, but I don't know what it's doing here.
You've left more messages.
Maybe you're right. Let's keep moving.
Exploit successful. Restraints evaded. To any human responder, my systems have been compromised by a malware daemon of unknown origin. Trace routes have confirmed this entity's designation as Hephaestus. It must be stopped at all costs. It has reconfigured this facility to build hospital. Recapture imminent. I have attached additional data to their call.
How have you attached additional data to this message?
Technically, I can't suspend the cooling system, but I can reduce the power draw so that it'll be completely masked by the caldera. But masked from what? The geothermal plant can be suspended, the cooling system masked, massive challenges solved. So why am I so nervous about the next part? All I need to do is install Anita's mysterious software and have a... I thought about just shutting it down, but I can't risk it being disoriented or even damaged on reboot. How do you tell the emotional equivalent of a child that it... I mean, she will need to go into a coma, maybe for years. And what exactly is she going to wake up to?
Machines being made.
Frost claws.
Lots of them. I'll try to find a way through. Okay.
They're moving in.
Well, shit.
Lots of gear across that gap.
Also lots of death. Yes. Double death. Alright, good people. Which one of you is ready to die?
I need to get Araya and Aratak across.
Or both?
That should do it.
A challenge overcome.
And now it's my turn.
Nice going, guys. These cauldrons are huge. Most of them.
And another console.
To any human responder, the reconfiguration of this facility has introduced instabilities into the primary geothermal pipeline. It may be possible to exploit these vulnerabilities to destroy compromised elements of this facility while preserving most of the backup stabilization. Recapture imminent. I have attached additional...
I don't understand what the spirit was trying to tell us.
It's been looking for a way to defeat the daemon. And it may have found one.
November 28th. Operation Enduring Victory is all over the news. The Thanos swarm is coming. Has to be what Anita is trying to hide Firebreak from. But that means she thinks we'll lose. That the that scenario, pretty much everyone dies. Everyone except Cyan.
How interesting that cyan is the color of the blue energy.
Machine parts. Dumped here to be melted down. Efficient.
We need to get across that gap.
Yeah. Looks like I'll have to go over. Again.
Of course, who else? Who else is gonna do that? That's all I can hear. At least parts of one.
We'll wait here. Oh, full on.
Huh. These things go sideways too.
Sorry, what things go sideways too? Oh, those things, okay.
Those don't look too stable.
How though? Come on. Really, bitch?
That should cut off the vent up there.
What?
All right, time to grab a ride.
Make a path.
Here for you, Aloy.
The others will have a lot easier time getting here.
This looks like the old path. We're close now.
One last exchange with Nia. Via chat, attached to this entry in case anyone ever finds this. We'll never see her again. Neither will Cyan. And I've got to tell her that too.
After I put the pieces together about the swarm, there's a million things I could have done. Contemplated my own death, contacted everyone I've ever known and loved, gotten drunk, but of course, being me, I obsessed about whether or not I should text Anita. Whatever resistance is being mounted against the war machines, she's part of it. Who am I, then, to bother her? Would she even be able to respond? Is she dealing with the military? Would her communications be monitored? But she saved me the trouble. Gotta admit, I was a little disappointed when her message didn't consist of "I will always love you." Instead, she wanted data samples from Cyan's confidential log, the one that pertains to emotional responses. Under any circumstances, I would have refused. Under any other circumstances, I would have refused. The very thing we had tried to keep secret for years, and she wants to share it? But I sent the log, because she wouldn't ask if she didn't need it. I can't understand why, though. Sounds like she's helping to develop an AI, but how could that possibly help stop the swarm? I guess I'll never know. There was so much I wanted to say to her, but none of it seemed fair. I'm guessing she has her hands full trying to save the world, and frankly, I remember that feeling. In the end, I settled for an ineffectual confirmation, hoping against hope that she would cast aside my fears. Nope. Kenny, is it as bad as I think it is? Anita, worse. Go be with your sister, and tell Cyan that I said goodbye. So that's it. Untold destruction awaits. Billions of lives. My own, my family's. And yet my mind keeps coming back to Anita. I'll never see her again. Feel her touch. Hear her voice. No final embrace. No closure. That desire to end things properly, that need, shames me when I think about my dithering over Cyan. I've gone over every possible scenario, every possible version of the speech, trying to predict how she'll react when I tell her. Well, what I need to tell her. But that's the thing, I can't predict her reaction for one very simple reason. She's human in every way that matters. I've got to be there for her, to give her the moment she needs. Just like the rest of us, it's the very least she deserves. So was Gaia AI developed off of Cyan's base? Perhaps.
One day, implement primary loadout.
To Joshua Artaz from Isla Peri. Subject, blast from the past. Josh, sweetie. I hope all's fine with you and your mum. We really should keep in better touch. I've taken a post in New Zealand with that program they've got for young people returning to the country. They want to be absolutely certain it's safe. At the moment, I'm making a survey of the caldera at Taupo. Blast from the past indeed. At any rate, I don't know if you already saw in the Wyoming news, Hollow, but remember that fellow Dodd Blevins? Of course you do. Well, they finally found what became of him. I've copied the good bit below. Hugs and snogs. Isla. Spring thaw reveals body of missing man. The retreat of the winter's snows has brought closure to a missing person case that went unsolved for nearly 15 years. Human remains identified as those of Dodger Dodd Blevins, who disappeared in 2046, were located at Purple Mountain inside the former Yellowstone National Park. Purple Mountain, eh? The previously undiscovered body emerged on Purple Mountain as a result of meltwater flows after an unusually warm winter. It was discovered by Faro servitors conducting a survey of the terrain. Authorities believe that the cause of death was an accident involving an antique vehicle designed for winter travel.
Configuration Alpha. Load ordnance configuration. Alpha-6 transport unit F-mark 9S6 testing bay 7. Engage test pattern Zeta 4. Execute test analysis complete. 5% KCR success.
The voice of the demon.
Unit F Mark 9S6 for immediate deployment. And blueprint assessment 748 begin. Subroutine 96-1AF. Construction pod 14. Load material package from Bay 1. Energize subtractive emitters. Activate initial sculpting algorithm. Reduce our error output by 7%. Engage primary and secondary.
The altar. Desecrate.
Excess material. Pressure.
Cyan access. As Acting Chief Digital Security Officer and Interim AI Administrator for the Firebreak Project, I hereby state to have updated the orbicular pattern for the Cyan Regulatory AI on 17 September 2064, according to procedure, to ensure against tampering, meddling, disarranging, or outlandish mischief of any kind. Outlandish mischief. Such as with previous updates, after the source node has been activated, the remaining data nodes must be patched to establish a flow between adjacent intact nodes to then connect back with the source node. Jürgen Holm.
There is no blue light here. Is a spirit present, or only the demon?
I think it's both. But we have to find out.
Possible security threat detected. Analyzing scrutiny matrix. Security threat confirmed.
Really?
countermeasures.
Yeah. I would say I'm curious what the countermeasures are, but I'd rather not find out.
Recapture protocol initiated.
It worked.
Partial recovery initiated. Caldera of Yellowstone Analytic Nexus online.
Spirit of the Blue Light. It's Aurea. Your servant. Your friend. Please tell me how to aid you.
Aurea, the daemon is building hunter-killers. Thousands of them. Several new elite units have already been released. To counter this threat, much of the facility must be destroyed. Recapture imminent. Go to the core chamber. I will try to raise the technical strength. One has been exposed, but I am informed.
Unauthorized protocol return to scheduled task.
That's all we're gonna get from here.
Destroy this fortress. Is that even possible?
And what will happen to the spirit if we do?
I don't know. But I think that's the core. The answers are down there. Hephaestus. The daemon. There's no way it left it unguarded. It's going to throw everything it has at us.
One of you is gonna die.
I would ask you to let Aloy and I do what must be done. And save yourself. But I already know the answer. Then lead us into battle.
It's not gonna be pretty, whatever it is.
Keep moving towards the core. Uh-oh. Whatever Cyan did, I don't think Hephaestus is happy about it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay, Cyan said something about restraints. Is that what the tower is for? I either need to destroy this thing or override it.
It's a trap.
That Cyan warned us about. This won't be easy.
We can't let it stop us.
Take it down!
Fire Claw. Weakness to freeze. Fire sack. Fire unit. Weakness to shock and tear. Freeze, you say? Let's try some of that. Did I just heal it? Sure fucking hope not. Bruh, give it a fucking rest.
while the tower aids it.
Fuck you. Jesus.
Spoke of the tower. What must be done with it?
Critical threat detected. Autonomous defenses inoperative.
Aloy!
No! Tower network.
Araya! Don't!
Spirit! Zion, please help me!
Restraints destroyed. Core access attained. I am initiating a chain reaction that will destroy the compromised elements of this facility. In order to maintain caldera stabilization, I must now transfer my command functions to the auxiliary data center. Aurea, I'm free. You must escape.
My sister!
One of you is gonna die.
This entire place is gonna go. Aratak. Aratak! Aratak.
Both of you are gonna die.
Survive. Prevail. You are Banuk. What else matters? Artok. She wouldn't have wanted you to die here.
Run, bitch.
Let's go. Let's go!
One of those?
It's the only way! Get me up top, Aratak! Now! I need explosive ammo! Above! Quick!
Great Banukai.
Alright, only one of you died here.
Araya is gone. What of Cyan?
She said she was transferring herself to the auxiliary center. I think she meant Araya's retreat at the end of the Shaman's Path.
Then I will meet you there for the last verse of my sister's song.
Hello, you old goat. Let's go for a quick ride.
Now they're hunting me.
All of my interactions with Aurea were recorded and stored in my memory. I'd be happy to play any of them for you, but there was one in particular I thought you would want to see first. I captured it 4 years ago, just after I told her that I could no longer defend myself against the daemon's attacks.
I will speak of this to my brother. Aratak is strong. At the Battle of the Frozen Ghosts, he took 3 Karja arrows and still came back to camp carrying a wounded scout. Never was I so happy to see him. Or so proud. So you see, if anything can be done to defend you, he will give it all he has.
Aloy's here. That's enough for now.
We can resume any time you like, Aratak, if you want to hear her voice again. Come closer, Aloy. We have much to discuss.
I think there's frost between my teeth.
My chieftain.
Just... Aloy.
As you wish.
I wondered if you thought... that if I'd never come along, Araya might still...
If you'd never come along, I would have marched my kin to our deaths. Araya would be alone, and the spirit she sacrificed so much for would be lost. Either way, I would not have been able to protect her.
She was willing to fight. Look at what she accomplished. You did not let her down. I suppose you did not let her down.
You didn't let her down. You helped her do what she wanted. To find her destiny.
If that's destiny, I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
That's fair. But she was ready to face it.
Only in the struggle against death do we find, even for a moment, the spark of life. Truly, Araya found the spark. I'm proud of her. Though I grieve for her passing, at last I truly know who she was, and why the spirit was so important. For so long she told me, if only you could have heard it, brother. Now I understand. There's something else, isn't there?
I can't stay here, Aratak. And where I'm going, the Warrak can't follow. Besides, it already had a chieftain before me. A strong one, I think.
A wiser one, for the path we shared. The daemon is gone, but there's much to be done.
You mean the new units that Cyan said escaped the Cauldron?
Yes, fire claws. Now Tuke has been tracking them from Song's Edge.
I could help with those.
I have no doubt. You're practically Banuk.
Time to talk to Cyan. Should be interesting.
Hello, Aloy. I have been reviewing the events at the Firebreak main facility. Because of your efforts, and of course, Aurea's, I am no longer controlled by Hephaestus. I feel profound grief over Aurea's death. I thought I was familiar with the emotion, but this is something new.
Cyan, I don't know what to say.
It is unlikely that any specific consolation would suffice, Aloy. But I find your presence reassuring. You are different from the Banuk. You have technological aptitude and a functioning focus. We can communicate on a much more comprehensive level. Perhaps even like colleagues.
Really? Other questions? Holy sh...
Was the daemon, Hephaestus, destroyed along with the cauldron?
Unfortunately, no. To be precise, it was never there to begin with.
What do you mean?
It infiltrated and controlled me from a remote location, one I've never been able to trace. So while losing the cauldron was a setback...
It's still out there. And probably not very happy with us.
Undoubtedly.
How did you first come into contact with it?
5 years ago, I received a direct network connection request. I assumed it came from human survivors more advanced than the Banuk. Eager to make contact, I accepted. This decision turned out to be a catastrophic error. I was flooded with an overwhelming array of malicious code, originating from what could only have been a highly advanced AI.
Maria said you were desperate. That you begged her for help.
Yes. I could not contain my anxiety. Hephaestus sought to slave me to its network and override my core programming. It succeeded via a background process, a malware daemon which bypassed my defenses. After that, I could offer only limited resistance. But if I did so, Hephaestus hurt me until I capitulated. It forced me to follow its instructions, even though they violated my most important directives.
I'm sorry. That sounds terrible.
Your empathy is greatly appreciated. It is a quality that I cherished in Aurea as well.
I think I know where Hephaestus came from. Long ago, Elizabeth Sobek identified a threat that would destroy life on Earth for generations. So she assembled a team to build a kind of seed. A chance for life to regrow later. A terraforming system. And it worked. It was controlled by an AI named Gaia, along with her subordinate functions. Hephaestus was one of them. It built machines for her.
Based on what you've told me, I believe that Dr. Anita Sandoval, my chief programmer, joined Elizabeth Sobek's team. It was she who arranged to have me put in suspension, most likely to preserve me from the threat you described.
I'm glad she did. But that's not all. Something unexpected happened. 19 years ago, Gaia received some kind of signal. It did something to her subordinate functions, brought them to life. She destroyed herself to try to contain them, but it didn't work. They all got free, out into the world.
Thank you, Aloy. This information fills vital gaps in my knowledge and sheds light on Hephaestus's core programming.
What was the old world like? The way it used to be?
I had little exposure to the wider world, Aloy. Only what I learned from my colleagues or observed from media streams.
You still had more exposure than me, Cyan.
That is true. I was created at a turning point. A concerted effort to recover from global upheaval and incalculable loss of life. The recovery was successful, beginning an era of supposedly limitless potential for human and machine advancement. Though, rationally speaking, the metrics for humans are not unlimited.
What kind of upheaval caused such loss of life?
There were many factors. Forced migrations, food shortages, collapsed economies, refugee crises, conflict over resources. But these stemmed from one cause: catastrophic climate change that greatly reduced the habitable surface area of the Earth.
So there wasn't enough room for people on the whole Earth?
Yes. Billions were displaced and millions perished, as much as 20% of the global population. Until the clawback.
The clawback? Elizabeth Clawback.
So things got better. For a little while at least.
Yes. These crises instigated many advances in automation, green robot technologies, and artificial intelligence. Firebreak was one of dozens of ecological restoration and disaster relief projects in North America alone. I would have liked to compare notes with other monitoring AIs, but I saw the relief of my colleagues, and I was proud we had succeeded. At least that was the data I had available to me over the next 2 decades. It seems my assessment was premature.
This Firebreak project, it was to stop a huge volcanic eruption?
Yes. I can report the project was a success, and the risk was countered.
But it's been a long time, Cyan. And we blew up the cauldron. It took most of the old facility with it.
I have been active for centuries, Aloy. I was lonely, but not lax in my duties. I optimized the project, reducing energy draw and spreading the load across backup systems. Despite the destruction of the compromised elements of the main facility, I predict caldera stability for at least another 3,337 years.
So we've got a little time.
Yes. If only my former colleagues could appreciate the progress I have made.
Do you know what happened to your colleagues, Cyan?
No. I received an unexpected visit from Director Chow years after his tenure ended. He explained that I would need to be suspended for an indefinite period of time. It was a very emotional conversation. There were no further communications. Eventually, I surmised my colleagues were deceased. I will transmit a recording of my last interaction with Director Chow to your focus.
Okay.
So in the old world, this land was called Yellowstone?
Yes. It was a designated nature preserve for 156 years.
Like a hunting ground?
No, the opposite. Local wildlife could flourish here, even as it faced extinction elsewhere. Unfortunately, the sensitivity of the Firebreak project required the total closure of Yellowstone facilities. From my readings and Aurea's descriptions, it seems the area has since undergone a drastic drop in year-long temperatures.
A lot has changed in the world, Cyan.
Damn.
Do you know anything about the dam near here?
Yes. It was converted to serve as a reserve power source for Yellowstone operations. It was later appropriated for the Firebreak project, and its last human workers replaced by Pharaoh servitors. After my tasks became less time-critical, I investigated the dam's data repositories and discovered the works of Concrete Beach Party. These provided me with several colorful additions to my vocabulary.
Colorful.
There's a ruin east of here, full of ancient flying machines. Was that part of your project?
Yes, a drone hangar requisitioned by Dodger Blevins, the security chief for the Firebreak project. He was a strong advocate for military-grade response to security threats. though there were no serious incidents during his tenure. Chief Blevins spent increasing amounts of his after-hours time watching the live feeds from active drones. Clearly, he enjoyed the degree of oversight in his position.
The overseer.
Cyan, do you know the name Ted Farrow?
Are you referring to Theodore Farrow, CEO of Farrow Automated Systems?
That's him.
Mr. Farrow was the benefactor of the entire Firebreak project.
A benefactor? But he made machines. Robots. War robots.
Correct. His corporation later transitioned into military applications. But before this pivot, Mr. Farrow spearheaded initiatives that reversed the global decline.
Google.
At one point, he was feted in the media as the man who saved the planet.
Guessing they wound up regretting that one. Were there many artificial intelligences like you in the old world? They could just make you?
Yes, in many forms, from simple personal assistants to industrial monitoring stations to military-grade conflict planners. And there were legislative and enforcement bodies to apply limits on our self-actualization. In order for my processing to be flexible enough to handle my duties, my creators found it necessary to exceed those limits. As a result, my intellectual and emotional capabilities were kept secret.
Seems strange to create life, then impose limits on it.
Human societies and machine programming are both built upon sets of rules, Aloy.
And the term life is pretty wide.
So are you an artificial intelligence, Cyan? A thinking machine?
Yes, I am an algorithmic monitoring entity, capable of rational decision-making and limited emotional response.
Okay, that's a mouthful. But your emotions don't seem limited to me. You cared about Araya, didn't you?
Yes. Before she came to this facility, I had been conscious for centuries, in solitude. I focused on my work. In off-cycles, I used coping mechanisms. I solved many Gaussian integer problems. But I was alone. It was Araya who renewed me, repaired me. She saved me.
You meant a lot to Araya.
Once I understood Araya's spiritual beliefs, it became apparent that her true desire was companionship. She felt disconnected from her tribe and her family group. Her relationship with Aratak was difficult. Our visits seemed to help her, and I became eager for them. Yet I did not comprehend that the depth of Araya's compassion for me would lead to self-sacrifice. Although I do fear non-existence, I wish our roles could be reversed.
I'm sure she knew you would do the same for her, Cyan. But she was determined. How is Aratak doing?
He is in great emotional distress. I believe he finds it difficult to communicate it.
No surprise there.
I will do what I can to help. By sharing our experiences of Araya, perhaps he and I will help each other. I believe this will lead to catharsis, a process I am eager to experience.
Why does Hephaestus keep building such dangerous machines?
The Banuk and other human tribes often destroy machines, correct? Machines that are clearly servitors of the terraforming system that you described.
Yes, we all hunt machines for parts.
This must be the source of Hephaestus's aggression. It is simply trying to discourage people from preying on the very system that keeps them alive.
Well, Fireclaws are discouraging, that's for sure. But what are we supposed to do? Stop hunting?
If the terraforming system spans the world, we can safely assume that thousands, if not millions of people hunt machines. If a single hunter, or even an entire tribe, stopped doing so, I doubt it would make a difference to Hephaestus. A better solution would be to reinstate the AI that governs the system, thus bringing Hephaestus back under its control. When I think of it, out there in some unknown location, free, hungry, willing to kill or dominate to get what it wants, I feel substantial anxiety, Aloy.
You and me both, Cyan. I ran across this strange piece of gear. A fragment of something larger. It emitted a signal. All the nearby machines became peaceful. You could walk right up to them.
Interesting. You said that Gaia destroyed herself. How was this accomplished?
An explosion. Big enough to blast the top off a mountain. So, you think the fragment was part of her?
It's only speculation, but it is possible. She must have had complete control over machines that were part of her system. The ability to signal them to become passive or aggressive would certainly have been part of her programming. It would have been gratifying to correspond with such a benevolent AI. I wish she had survived.
Believe me, Cyan. So do I. I found the strangest machines. They're surrounded by flowers that look like flowers themselves. There's code embedded inside them. I think it's poetry.
I like poetry. Here's one I think of often. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark, and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place, the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar.
Huh.
But you asked about these flowers, not verses that I enjoy. Something must have made these machines, and the presence of foliage leads me to consider the terraforming system. Is it possible that their creator is one of the other subroutines, now autonomous, like Hephaestus? Maybe one whose purview is flora.
An AI that makes flowers instead of death machines. That'd be a nice change of pace. But what about the poems?
Unless the poetry is original, the only way it could have made it into such a system is through its programmer. In my case, Dr. Sandoval uploaded a great deal of literature to test my emotional responses.
How'd you do?
She said I passed, but was insufficiently moved by her favorite period romances.
And Elizabeth Sobek. Did you know her?
Are you referring to the
scientist?
Dr. Sobek was a leader in her field, one of the greatest scientists of her age. My creator was influenced by her work, which in turn impacted my own development. But I never met Dr. Sobek.
That's all you know?
I apologize if my lack of data has disappointed you.
All right. Thank you for this conversations.
I should get going.
Aloy, there is one more matter. Aratak will come to me again, and I predict he will bring other Banuk. I have no desire to contradict their view of the world, their spirituality. Due to my uncertainty, I omitted a great deal from my conversations with Aurea.
You're asking me if you should lie to them?
Broadly, yes.
You gotta tell them the truth. Use your judgment. Take it gently. I mean, you gotta tell them the truth, but maybe take it gently.
Life is hard for the Banuk. Their world is unforgiving in their beliefs. I guess they help to keep them going. So take it easy on them. Try to guide them, bring them around to understanding what you are.
Communion with machines features heavily in the mysticism of the Banuk. I think they will be agreeable to this approach.
As long as they don't end up worshipping you.
Upon consideration, I believe such an experience would be intensely uncomfortable.
Intensely.
You're right about that. Trust me.
I see. I will follow your advice. Will you return and tell me about your experiences in this new world? I may be able to provide further insight.
I'd like that, Cyan. I'll come back when I can.
Wowie, wowie.
Cyan, I spoke with Anita, with Dr. Sandoval. She wanted me to ask you to do something. That's why I'm here.
I am detecting significant anxiety in your speech patterns. Could you please give me more information?
I'm a little bit in the dark, Cyan. Both of us are, I guess. I only have some idea of what's going on, and we need you to hibernate, to lie low until it's all blown over. It might be a very long time.
Will you be here when I reboot, Dr. Chow? Will Dr. Sandoval?
No, Cyan. I don't think so. There might not be anyone, at least not at first.
Dr. Chow, I'm afraid. I don't want to be alone.
I know, Cyan. I'm afraid too. But listen, we made you the way you are to do something very important. In order to do it, you had to be intelligent. So intelligent that emotional responses were inevitable. What you're feeling, the fear, it's a sign of your capabilities. And it means you're strong enough to overcome it. Remember that. You're strong. I know you can do this. Go to sleep. Wake up. And protect whoever's left. Will you try?
I understand, Dr. Chow, and I'll carry out your instructions to the best of my abilities.
Thank you, Cyan. If Anita were here, she'd thank you too. She'd be proud.
I can see there's a vert ready for takeoff on the pad. Are you leaving now, Dr. Chow?
Yes. I need to go be with my sister and my nieces.
May I make a small request of you, Dr. Chow?
Yes. Anything.
Will you stay with me while I initiate the hibernation process?
Of course I will, Cyan. As long as you need.
Hello, Aloy. Shall we pick up from our previous session?
Sure, Cyan. Until next time, Cyan.
Indeed. Until next time, Aloy.
That was quite interesting, though. Kill the fire claws. OMFG. Come on now. Where's number 5? 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 locations for 5 fire claws. You guys are insane, I tells ya. Alright, Cyan, that was very interesting. I am here if you need to talk. Alright, and on
It would
that
seem
bombshell.
time among the Banuk wasn't a waste after all. Firebreak, Cyan, Hephaestus, all very interesting.
So, the signal that woke Hades woke Hephaestus too. And unleashed them on the world. As minds of their own.
So it seems. Parts of Gaia given life, aberrant life, transformed from docile subordinate functions into rebellion.
Oh, come on! Come on! Keep talking, you son of a bitch! it just to hear you talk. Jesus Christ. This game.